say about 10 subject areas, different material areas where glass can play a role. I'll be very brief. I know time's against us. I could probably talk for the rest of the evening, but I want to give a flavour of where glass has and will play a role in building and architecture, in defence, in communications, in transport, in sports and leisure, in science and technology, in business, in farming and agriculture, in energy, and in health and well-being. That's a fairly wide palette, and I'm sure there are many more. I know there are many more, but we don't have time this evening to cover them. So, systematically, I'll work through a little bit of where glass has been and where it's going in some of these areas. I think you might be a little bit surprised. So, we'll start with the built environment. Glass is a tool that is absolutely fundamental to architects. I remember, probably 15 years ago now, formulating an argument with a renowned architect who, in their press, announced that the glass edifice was at the end of its useful life. We were facing climate problems, and the idea was that concrete would be the future. But architects need light and space. It's their palette, it's what they work with, it's what we all admire from massive, beautiful facades like the Shard and the various buildings across the way. Wherever you look at cities around the world, Tokyo, New York, Hong Kong, it's all built on this palette of glass being such a wonderful material. And it's not just wonderful in its aesthetic, it's the fact that it also has a practical element. Within the structure of a sheet of glass, now we can actually build in a whole system of electronics based on being able to feed a power source, whether that be an embedded chemical battery or whether that is actually attached to an external power source that will drive circuitry that we can deposit on the surface. We can then inform various coatings that we can put onto that glass to react in certain ways, such that we can control the environment on either side of the glass, we can control the surface to reject water and moisture in all sorts of different ways. We can control how it looks, how it passes light, transmits light, how it reflects light back into the building. So we can create an ambience, an atmosphere, and a functional element by changing the way that we treat the glass and how we apply the current to that glass surface. So architects are progressively finding more and more complex ways of employing that to both practically enhance the living environment, but also to combat environmental issues like CO2 emissions. Because what we can do through that is control the ambient temperature inside a building and make sure that we can at the same time harvest sunlight falling on the surface, much as the solar panels you see across all the fields these days. So in the built environment, there's a massive opportunity as we head into the future to create a whole palette of things that will make life in the new built environment a very different experience. And it will be based on glass, not concrete. So many years ago when I saw that article, I felt compelled to pick up my pen and write back. And I did, and I attacked probably in an inappropriate way to say that even if they were built of concrete, we would clad them on the outside with glass, we'd make them into television screens, and we'd actually see the environment we wanted. But architects would never want a whole concrete jungle. They want the light and the transparency that glass brings. So glass in the built environment, we see it, we evidence every day when we walk around, but in the future, the ability for glass to play a much bigger role in that and contribute to every element of what society needs in the built environment is entirely something that we can offer.